What's good, YouTube? It's your girl Sky, also known as Lil Piglet, and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about all things Roller Champions, and your girl has become a Ubisoft creator, so be ready for a lot of Roller Champions content on this YouTube channel and Roller Champions streams as well. Now, I've only had about 2-3 days of playtime, but I am already so immersed in Roller Champions. It is insane. This is exactly what you want from a game on launch. Cool cosmetics, different ways to customize your character, a great battle pass that I had to buy immediately. I tried to wait, I couldn't. I bought the battle pass and I'm already on my way to completing it. The thing that I've fallen in love with the most with this game are the mechanics, and that is exactly why I've put together this starter pack, beginner's guide, whatever you want to call it, to get you guys ready to start making plays from the jump. I'll be going over some of the basics that get covered in the in-game tutorial, but I'll also talk about them in more depth and show you guys how to string them together to make some really awesome plays and set you apart from the rest of your competition. So let's get into it. So as you can see, the basic controls of the game are illustrated on the right of my screen. Pumping is probably the most frequent mechanic you're going to use, period. There's only a few ways to increase your speed in this game, and pumping is probably the most consistent, and you're going to want to do this every time you go down a slope to either maintain or increase your speed. Now, if you want a little bit more control over this movement, a great way to do that is by introducing braking. When you reach the top of a slope, if you brake and pump down straight afterwards, you will have a lot more control and freedom over the direction of your character, and you'll be able to keep your momentum in a much smoother way. Also, if you hold brake, you'll come to a sudden stop and you can start walking on your skates instead of skating, which is actually useful if you want to set up a tackle, a save, or just completely change the direction that you're going in. Now, speaking of tackling, there are so many different ways to do this in this game, which is awesome, and you can only do this when you don't have the ball. There's one tackle that I feel like doesn't really get used that much to actually tackle an opponent, but gets used to gain speed instead. So we're going to talk about the uppercut really quickly. So you can use the uppercut to tackle enemies that are already in the air and right above you. Most people use this to gain a lot of speed and get further up the wall than you would just by jumping or skating up it. As soon as you get close to a wall, if you press the uppercut button, you will gain a crazy amount of speed. The way that I like to use the uppercut is to make some of these corners easier to take. A lot of people just kind of skate around them and don't gain speed or really lose speed, but I like to use them as opportunities to gain on an opponent or get away from somebody. So I always uppercut on these corners just to make sure that I'm gaining speed way faster than everybody else. This can be so useful if you are ahead of both of your teammates and you want to call for a pass. If you uppercut, call for the pass whilst you're mid-air, catch the ball. Once you land, you will literally gain a burst of speed that will almost make you uncatchable unless somebody else does the same thing. If you want to be the ultimate defender, there are a couple of tackles that you can use when you're off the ball to help your teammates score goals without any opposition, and basically just have your teammates back if they need you. Other types of tackles include the jump tackle, where you jump, press the tackle button and do a kick, which can catch people mid-air or as they're about to jump off a wall. If you press the tackle button twice in mid-air, you do this sort of double-footed dive, which is extremely dramatic, but so useful if timed correctly. This is a typical risk-all tackle though. If you do not hit, it will slow you down by quite a lot. So if you're going to commit, make sure that you hit your target. My favorite tackle in this game is by far the nudge tackle. In my opinion, this is low risk and high reward because if you miss this, you don't really slow down too much, and if you hit it, you can knock an opponent off their skates. Now, you do have to be relatively close to your opponent for this to work, as it doesn't cover much ground, and if you're that close to somebody, they could probably just do the same thing to you. But I've found it so effective to be a great defender by using this. I mean, in this clip alone, I think I got like 3 nudge tackles in about 10 seconds. That's literally 3 interceptions in 10 seconds, which is so huge when it comes to Roller Champions. The extreme version of this tackle is the dive tackle, and probably the hardest that I've found to use. One way to make this easier is by braking before you dive. So if you brake just before you go into a dive tackle, you can be so much more precise with the direction that you're tackling in, and it can slow everything down for you so you don't get as frantic and just spam it. I feel like shooting in this game is relatively straightforward. You can either charge your shot by holding down the shoot button, or you could just throw it immediately into the goal. The only difference really is that a charge shot will be more accurate and a lot quicker, whereas shooting immediately can definitely throw off your opponents if you're right underneath the goal, but will be a little bit more flimsy. Oh, and furthermore, don't be afraid to shoot the ball from behind the goal. You don't only have to shoot it from in front, you can still score points from going past the goal, turning around and scoring a point for your team. There are a few ways that you can spice up some of your goals and shots by incorporating some other mechanics. One thing I love to do in this game is dodge when I have the ball. It is by far one of the most flashy, satisfying mechanics in the game right now. I can really help you out when you're in a 1v1 with only one person in front of you blocking you from the goal and you want to get past them, or if you see a tackle coming and you want to avoid it. I like to use a look back feature to see what's going on behind me to know if a tackle was coming in, so I know when to dodge. You can see in this clip that I look behind me twice. I spot two people, so I know to jump and then dodge to try and avoid both of them. Now, if there's ever a point where there's too many people that are about to tackle you and you know with one dodge you're still gonna get taken down, you can do what they call a dodge dive with the ball. To do this, you just double tap the dodge button and your character will dive onto the ground, which should get them out of range of any tackles, and then you have the option to pass the ball to one of your teammates. This can be really useful to put all of the attention on you and then quickly pass to a teammate who then should have a pretty clear path with no opposition. Finally, we're going to talk about speed boosting. Now, speed boosting is probably one of the easiest ways to get laps in on this game super quick. When you're next to a teammate, you can either speed boost off that teammate or they can speed boost off of you, gain speed and momentum, and get ahead of anybody who's near them. People who do this really well are able to get in 3 laps and score 5 points immediately, so it's definitely something worth practicing with your team. Alright, with all that being said, we're gonna look at one final play and break it down using all of the mechanics that we've learned today. Alright, so in this clip, I uppercut to gain some speed and catch up to my teammate. I do a second uppercut to give my teammate an easy pass. I notice the opponent underneath me, so I dodge to the right, break, and pump left to completely confuse them. And by doing that, I gained enough speed and enough space to make an easy 1-point goal. That's gonna do it for today's YouTube video. I hope all of you guys learned something awesome to take into your next Roller Champions match. Definitely look out for more Roller Champions tips and tricks and gameplay videos on my YouTube channel, and follow me on Twitch if you want to see me live stream it. I appreciate all of you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.